Students of the University of the West Indies are being cautioned that walking around with marijuana in their backpacks could lead them to being charged with trafficking, despite the law that one can legally carry around 30 grams of cannabis. The advice comes from Senior Counsel Rajiv Persad speaking during a UWI Forum on the impacts of cannabis use among young persons. Sunil Lalla reports.
Really, was that smoke worth it?
Head of the Alum Chambers in TNT, Senior Counsel Rajiv Persad, says there's a law that university students must be keenly aware of with regards to having marijuana on their person. Speaking during a UWI Forum on cannabis use on Thursday, he said despite it being illegal for someone to have in their possession 30 grams of marijuana, there's a clause that students must take into consideration.
You know, young people need to be aware that even though there may be 30 grams which they can avail themselves to, technically, there's, as I say, so many other things wrapped around that creates a problem. You certainly can't take it with you to school because nobody wants to hear about possession. You are deemed to be trafficking, and the onus is on you to show that it was for personal use. But by the time you do that 15 years later.
Also speaking at the forum was instructor of psychology at the UWI's Department of Behavioral Sciences, Dr. Joni Lipau, who said according to a survey of 237 university students conducted in February 2023, many have been using cannabis.
Of 237 students, they found that almost half of the students use cannabis, roughly half of the students use cannabis in their lifetime. 14% were using cannabis once a week or more, and about 10% first use at age 15 or below.
Previous laws on the drug, he said, also led entire families in the court system, despite one or two family members that may have been the culprits at their home.
In the early days of me going into courts, magistrate court, and seeing a grandmother, grandfather, father, mother with baby and all that kind of thing in the court system, because the police decided they don't do any investigation. They just take everybody down. The only people who used to get away was the children under 18, right? Funny sense, the police are just doing because they are saying, well, look, we don't know who had control over this particular drug.
Mr. Persad believes historically, TNT's drug laws have been draconian, noting in 2001 where amendments were passed to the 1991 legislation introducing mandatory sentencing in relation to trafficking of drugs. Sunil Lalla, TTT News.